And welcome back to another episode of the MDCP podcast. Yes, Sam, I got it right today. And I didn't even have to think about what phrasing I was going to use. Almost need like a scrolling screen of cue cards. But
in your head, yeah.
We're here and joined, as always, by the amazing Ash and Sam. And we're here to talk all things six-figure coach seminar, becoming $1 million coach or six-figure coach, and how to just add more value in the coaching landscape and how coaches can realize their own value and potential.
Mm-hmm.
So, kick off, Sam.
Well, I think Ash posed a really good point before we hit the record button, and that was that there's this perception, and I'm guilty of it myself. It's the way that I operated. That, for example, you get your level 1, you coach for a little bit, you make some friends, you make some enemies, you learn some things, you cry a little bit along the way, and then you go and you take your level 2, and then all of a sudden you come back from your level 2, and I know that my reaction coming back from my level 2 was, cool, I'm a level 2 coach now, pay me more. And that's a problem. And
I know more things. I'm more valuable to you.
Yeah.
But are you?
Yeah. And so here's where we might ruffle some feathers, which, shocker, would be
what we do best.
Your favorite thing to do, Sam. Don't be shy.
That might be true. So
well done, Ash.
So let's do it like this. If you go away and you take a specialty certification, you're entitled to nothing. Like, before we even get into specialty certifications or anything like that, you're entitled to nothing. You're getting a cert or becoming a coach, or insert phrase here entitles you to jack all, right? And especially when it comes to the service industry, which, make no mistake, that's the one that we operate in. Especially when it comes to the service industry, your value is measured by the service that you provide, right? So even if you go and spend $1,000 of your money and you spend 16 hours over 2 days doing the seminar, and then you survive the test and you pass, doesn't mean at all, in any way, shape, or form, that the value that you are now providing to the people in your community has risen. That's a presumption, I think, that a lot of people make, that I got more information, all of a sudden I must be a better coach. No. I have seen some amazing...
There's a soundbite.
Yeah. I have seen some amazing level 1 coaches, and I have seen some dog shit level 3s. And that's not to disparage anybody. My only point is, these things are not, they are sometimes correlated, and they are never causally related. And so I keep reading it over and over again, and a bunch of things that I'm reading or listening to, like, in business, in entrepreneurship, in the service industry, your second life begins when you realize that no one is coming to save you. And that is terrifying, absolutely, and also incredibly empowering. It's maybe the most empowering thing that can happen to someone in the service industry, is to realize you are in direct control of your fate and the outcome of your effort.
Yeah.
Go on, Sam.
Well, I was going to say the end, son of a gun. Despite the fact that we have lightning fast, literally speed of light internet, still have delays. No, I lost it. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, I'll go. You pick it back up.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to reference that we talked about on the FitFilliate podcast last week, cross promotion, that about, getting the freedom of having that freedom of time, and that the ability that we have as entrepreneurs and business owners we can create revenue out of thin air, but we can also create time for ourselves out of thin air if we invest rather than spend our time. But if you want to know more on that, go listen to that podcast. Highly recommend it. Great chat. But it's that concept is that we have that capacity as the captains of our own ship is to, just manufacture and manifest things out of thin air that we need. It's like, oh, I need this thing. It doesn't exist. I'm just going to make it happen. And we have that gift. I'm not going to say power. I'm going to say gift. Lisa out. Sam, over and out.
No, I'm watching Ash.
Yeah, Ash is sitting there. I feel like there's something big coming.
Yeah, there's like a fire building.
No, I've just read something this weekend about time, and I don't know that I can quote it properly, but there was something about like Einstein's equation versus the Newtonian equation for time, of like one happens to you and one you create it. That was the gist of it, but I can't remember it exactly, so I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah.
And we get overwhelmed, don't we, with being in charge. It can be as a coach or an affiliate owner that with great power comes great responsibility. So I have this power to create these
Uncle
things. Ben. Yeah. But then we start spinning our wheels and that's where the self-doubt limiting beliefs comes in. It's like, well, who am I to think that I could have a 6-figure income or whatever, or that's not noble. And then we get in through all that, not no bull. Don't let my accent fool you. Not branding there, but not sponsored. But, we get into that cycle of stuff. So we actually don't do anything with the potential that we have.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this same argument can be had in any number of industries. For example, this is why people who do CrossFit, they hire a coach, because the coach saves them time and effort that would otherwise be wasted trying to figure out what to do on their own, right? And it helps keep them focused and directed and, executing on the priorities. And through many, 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 many years of open source trial and error, CrossFit as an organization and a methodology has figured out the most direct way to provide you a shortcut to results, right? And part of that process was creating tremendous value. CrossFit Journal, right? I mean, Greg would sit down and write a ridiculous essay. Yeah, like tomes. Most people have no idea the volume of writing he was doing. And then, you start bringing in other people. He would get specialists to write things. He would get, people who were kind of standouts in the community to guest write for a while. And, then it was a feather in your cap. If you got something published in the journal, like, it was a big deal because they don't just let every Tom, Dick, or Jane with a blog get on there, right? Like, you had distinguished yourself as a person who not only understood, but could comprehend and then recite back at many levels of understanding a complex topic like the clean. And if you don't think that doing the clean is a complex topic, it's my opinion that you don't understand the movement. So CrossFit has made life easy for people in that you don't have to waste time. You pay a coach and a gym to provide you with the resources necessary, the direction, and the coaching to solve your problem. Why anybody would think that the same rules wouldn't apply to them in, for example, entrepreneurship, I don't understand, right? And you absolutely can do it the hard way. You can sit and try to figure it out. And look and interpret and suss out the mechanisms by which organizations or people are creating value and then leveraging that value for income.
Mm.
Or you can hire a coach and your coach is going to say, stop doing that. It's not actually helping you get to where you want to be. If you want to make, $1,000 extra dollars every month, then if you're spending 5 hours a week on your phone scrolling Instagram, I'm going to ask you, how is that helping you move the needle forward? Right? And the human capacity for self-delusion is really high because we're just humans, and that's okay. But
we can excuse ourselves of anything we want and
right,
tell ourselves any story to justify anything at all. We are the masters of self-protection and making ourselves feel better, like self-soothing. Like we're taught that as babies, is like, cry it out, you'll be fine, and you tell yourself a story about it's fine, and then you just that's how it evolves.
And if you don't believe that's the truth, then A, you're lying to yourself. But B, all you need to do to dismantle that little lie is think about someone who, if you're a coach, I know you know, who has a nagging shoulder injury and is ignoring it and not doing anything about it, and telling themselves a story about like what it's gonna how is it going to be okay, and under what circumstances it's going to be okay. And unless this person is an orthopedist, or they've had that issue previously and worked with an orthopedist, they probably have no right to say that, right? And as a coach, as a person who understands, hopefully, human anatomy and physiology, you can say, okay, well, I hear you saying these things, but then I see you get up and do a set of 15 butterfly pull-ups and your shoulder's dumping forward and your elbow's dumping out. And I know you're aggravating that shoulder every single time, but yeah, sure, you've got it, So like that face, Ash. Yeah.
I have an athlete in mind right now.
Everyone does. Everyone does. And so this thing where like we can delude ourselves into any number of things like, oh, I went and spent $1,000. I must be more valuable. No, you spent $1,000. I hope you can provide value from the knowledge that you were given, but that's still on you.
Right.
And it's how do we communicate, that skill and knowledge? Like we spoke last week on last week's call, Sam, you're saying, you came back from your Bergener weightlifting course and you were like ready to vomit goodness on everybody.
Yeah.
And, there's a way you can package that knowledge and information that is more valuable rather than just standing up and decreeing like, I'm the expert, come listen to me. Like, and that's a skill, is to learn that and to understand the nuances of communicating and demonstrating your value, plus making it a relationship of reciprocity with your affiliate owner. So you're not just walking in and go, hey bro, passed a test, got my L3, so that'll be like $80 an hour now. Cool.
Yeah.
Laters.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to pick and choose which classes I want and all the rest of it. Like that's great. You've got an L3, you learned how to pass a test. Not saying that there's anything, the L3 is an excellent demonstration of the deeper knowledge, but you passed a test. What value, if I'm, the affiliate owner, okay, cool. How is you having level 3 going to help me and help our community? How do you demonstrate that and communicate that?
Yeah.
I think a great example of this currently happening right now is the percentage of attrition coming out of the level 4. I know a lot of level 3s who, as soon as that site went live, they signed up.
Yep.
And some of those spots were taken by red shirts. There are a lot of people, red shirts included, who are failing this. And it's because they don't. There's a lot of things that could be said about this. But the likelihood that you will go and execute on the level 4 exam in real time for 2 classes consecutively in a manner that is not something that you are normally accustomed to. By that, I mean, if you coach one way when you're at your home affiliate and you're going to change that and you're going to be the perfect coach for these two classes, it's just not going to happen. Like this needs to be happening at an almost subconscious level. And so the value that you need to be providing at a subconscious level, like it is so crazy far beyond what I think a lot of coaches think is possible. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't attempt to go for the level 4 because it's impossible. It's not. I know how to pass the level 4. I also know that I need to dig in and get better before I can execute the way that I want to on that exam.
Yeah. And again, like you come back and go, okay, I'm level 4, or, you know, just because you go and you attempt your level 4, for example, and you miss out, you miss it, doesn't make you less valuable. Like you said, you know, we've all, you know coaches who are just sitting at their level 1 and they are outstanding humans and outstanding coaches, and, you know, they have invested their time and their learning in providing service and value rather than just accumulating, you know, pieces of paper. But it's also, you know, you see people who attempt the L3 and miss.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they start to doubt themselves as a coach and not understanding, like, don't get me wrong, I love what CrossFit have done with the progressions and the way that you can ascend through and give you something to aspire towards and work towards, rather than the old question like, oh, my L1's due. Do I do L2 or do I just revalidate? Like, what do I do? You know, there's actual drive for people that want to progress, and those people are rewarded, and that's fantastic. And we start to see the feedback loop.
Yeah.
But people can also then see that as a reflection on who they are as a coach. So then that takes it the other way. They're like, well, you know, I couldn't pass that, so maybe I shouldn't be coaching. And they just put so much stock in, you know, living or dying by this thing.
I was going to say it's like becomes part of their identity and their definition of themselves as a coach, as opposed to what they actually do on the daily in their classes. And
I spoke to somebody recently who, you know, desperately wanted it, has failed. Oh, well, I hate using the word fail, but failed the L3 a couple of times now.
Yeah.
And they were really like looking around at other places that had it. I said, but they're not as good of a coach as me. I went, cool. They're just, you know, better at taking a test maybe. You know, your brain is not wired in that regard because of, you know, whatever, but test taking is a challenge for you. And look at the service. And I said, and so we asked the question because that was going to take some of their focus off their business, is like, if you get the L3, is that going to change what you currently do in your business or the way that you coach your people? And he was like, no, because I do XYZ already. I went, so by failing it, then that doesn't change anything that you're doing anyway. Like, you're still being an awesome coach. You just don't have those letters.
Yeah.
So it can be a double-edged sword. Like, if people get these levels and progress through, like, yeah, I want more money, or, oh, I didn't get it, you know, and it would be very hard if you're a red shirt and you don't get it. You would assume that, you know, they're at the tip of the spear, which they are. It's like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I'm not a good coach. Maybe I'm not a thing, you know?
It's, I mean, we can divest, you know, really quickly for this discussion. The level 1 seminar, there are some fantastic coaches who would be dog shit seminar staff. And these are not my words. These are coming from people who are on seminar staff. And it's not because they're bad coaches. It's because the level 1 seminar is a very contrived thing. Like,
it's a script.
You know, it is. It's absolutely a script. And it should be, because you're trying to take upwards of 30 people of varying levels of experience from 0 to 60 on, see, I threw that in just for you, Lisa, not, in, on, you know, like, how many topics are covered? There's the 3 classes of movements. There's nutrition. What is fitness? What is CrossFit? 2 workouts plus warm-ups, the advanced movements. Like there's a shit ton of stuff they got to cover. And so they don't have time for you to come in with your super special, nuancy niche progression for the air squat. Like, no. Send your hips back, keep your weight in your heels, drive your knees out in line with your toes, keep your spine neutral, and get your hips below your knees. Hit those 5 things incredibly well, and then we'll move on. And the converse side of that is just because you wear a red shirt does not mean at all that you are ready or capable of executing at the level they are hoping for. They set the standard for the level 4 where they did for a reason. And with a certain thing in mind, and everything I've heard, if you coach strength in a Metcon, you're going to have a bad time. And because like they want you to teach, see, and correct like nobody's business and apply threshold training. And everything I have ever worked with for coaches who are part of strength and Metcon gyms, the deck is stacked so heavily against them in terms of like just amount of time necessary to get practice in teaching, seeing, and correcting. And if you disagree, that's fine. Give me a holler and we'll have a chat.
But it it is, and like I'm drawn back. My brain is drawn back to a conversation that we had internally. We might have had it in our meeting last week, but also FitFilliate Podcast is, if your gym is following a particular type of program and you identify as I'm a, XYZ affiliate, or I'm a, we're a, whoever it is gym, then it's not, you're losing your mission, your vision, your why in that, because you're becoming part of, bye Sam, you're becoming part of, welcome back. You're becoming part of somebody else's, thing. And those programs are not a bad thing. Don't send me hate mail and say that I'm against programs. Like, I'm not pushing any particular program, but they're generally jam-packed. So they're setting their, the coaches are gifted lesson plans. They're gifted, even following CAP, you're gifted lesson plans. You're gifted the whole progressions and all those. So it's really plug and play. So the coaches don't have to think. So then this coach who's used to doing all of these things, squishing them into the hour, and then go and do your level 4, and suddenly you're do your own lesson plan, figure all this stuff out, and coaching a 3-minute AMRAP for an hour. Like, okay, how am I going to do that? So it does makes things easier day to day coaching and in your affiliate, but it's also you lose your identity a little bit and you're spoon fed things. And when you go and do your L4, like whoever is providing your box programming isn't going to say, oh, here, I'll give you a template for that. It just doesn't exist. So we kind of do ourselves a disservice.
Well,
that's a whole different bag to unpack there, I feel like.
Ash, you want to jump in on this?
I bought all the luggage today. I bought everything in.
I'm trying to keep it on topic. I don't know. Go ahead, Sam. No.
Okay, so 2 things. First of all, I had the good fortune and great opportunity to write lesson plans for Comp Train for an entire summer. Every week, 7 workouts, going out to 890 affiliates across the world. I lost track of the number of affiliates who thought we were actually supposed to be programming for their affiliate. Like we'd program GHD sit-ups and we'd get a message in the Facebook group and be like, why did you program this? We don't have GHDs. And my boss and I were like, oh shit. Like we've got to pull back and recalibrate. And my roundabout way, that's a roundabout way of getting to the point that like, doggy, that's a roundabout way of getting to the point of like, even if it doesn't matter what programming service you're provided with, that doesn't absolve you of the responsibility to execute and provide value, you get a fantastic lesson plan. And we were very proud of the lesson plans that we wrote. It doesn't change the fact that like it's still your job to go coach. I mean, you could read that thing like a script, and if it's not right for your people, then it's the wrong lesson plan, you know? And that's just lesson planning as an example. And part of the, you know, we see this with a whole bunch of, you know, programming services. Almost every programming service, with a handful of exceptions, is there is a focus, not a focus, but there is some of the traits are providing more work, right? For the athlete to do. The trade-off for that will be less coaching. And when I say coaching, what I mean is we're going to teach the snatch. Cool. The workout for today is 7x1 snatch. You're going to do 7 lifts. That's it, right? I'm going to have you take 21 minutes to do that. You're not going to do a Metcon at the end. You're not going to do a skill work at the front end. I'm going to spend 10 to 15 minutes teaching you the snatch, and I'm going to load you up appropriately. There's another 10 minutes, and then we've got 20 plus minutes of nothing but lifting. And you're going to lift on a clock so that you don't do 7 snatches in 14 minutes and then be like, what next? You know? And for that kind of thing, if you listen to what I just said and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to teach the snatch for 10 minutes, then there is an opportunity for you to increase the value that you bring to your classes. And I say the word opportunity deliberately because nobody's coming to save you. Yeah. You know, you're level 1, you're level 2, you're level 3, you're burden or weightlifting. None of that entitles you to all of a sudden putting a label of more valuable on what falls out of your face. You got to go execute.
Yeah. And it's also very much as well, like it's that member experience, like, you know, using your example, Sam, you know, you came back from the weightlifting, you know, you're ready to vomit technical stuff all over everybody. Like, was that the best experience? Like it was the best information, but was it the best experience for the members? Because at the end of the day, members pay for an experience.
Yeah.
You know, they come in and, you know, they they want to be entertained. Well,
we make an assumption about what they pay for. If you've never asked them, going back to last week, if you've never asked them what they're here for, then we make the assumption that they're here for an experience. Some of them might be here for incredibly technical weightlifting.
Yes. And it's how do we deliver that? But that's where your nuance as an amazing coach and communicator and being able to communicate your value. You can have a class of 10 people. The people who thrive on that technical geeking out stuff, you're going to be able to give that to them. But also, you know, average Joe and Betty who just want to clang and bang and feel like, you know, that they threw a barbell around for 20 minutes and, you know, we're going to help them progress. They're going to get a little bit better, but they had some banter. They had some, you know, building community moments in between their resting sets.
Yeah.
Like they're going to go, oh, I had such a great day today, such a great vibe. You know, we had the tunes turned up, had the chalk on, it was chalk out, it was all good. And the other people should walk out and go, man, I got so much out of that from Sam today. I got all this. Everyone got what they wanted from that class. And that's the gift of being a coach. It's not having all those technical things. It's how do we then provide what the client needs, which comes back to how do we know? Do we talk to them? Do we get to know our members? Do we get to know the people who come to our class and know all of those little things? But then it's okay going back to your owner and talking about that value and not just saying, well, hey, I'm a level 2 or I'm a level 3 or I'm a level gazillion, whatever it is, or I've got this bit of paper or that bit of paper. It's like, hey, my classes are packed. Like, you know, my retention is very high in my classes. I'm not losing members out of my classes. Like, that's going to make you infinitely more value. People are asking me to run programs or additional courses because they want to engage in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, there's your value proposition, not just, I need $80 an hour, dude, because I got this level 4 piece of paper thing.
That's a great metric is class attendance. If you don't track class attendance, first of all, please, for the love of God, track class attendance. Like, keep track of who is in your building and when they're in your building. Sign people in. But then as a coach, you can go back and say, look, my class attendance is increasing. We're hitting cap on my classes regularly. You don't have people coming and complaining. I'm having people come and ask me for special programming or personal training. That's a value proposition. Right? And
how do we make this work for each other?
Absolutely. Yeah. And before I kick it to Ash, real quick, going back to that snatch thing, if that sounds like a lot of providing technical understanding for a complex weightlifting movement and doing so in such a manner that everybody gets exactly what they need and it's fun and engaging and you're operating at multiple levels, if that sounds like a shit ton of work, it is. It's incredibly hard. And that is exactly what they are asking you to do at the level 4.
And more.
Yeah. Well, and, just to go back to the whole value, most affiliate owners, if they, talk about value, they're paying for a software program so that members can track all their performance, right? So they've got that value they're already paying for. And they're maybe paying for that programming that you're following because that provides them value. And then the question becomes, so how do you as a coach provide more value on top of that besides just keeping it in the hour and making sure nobody gets hurt, right? That's like the bare minimum as a coach. Keep it in the hour, make sure nobody gets hurt. That's the bare minimum.
Yes.
Yep.
And then it's did you say everybody's name? Did everybody smile? Did you smile? Yeah. Did you give feedback on the lift? If there was a lift in a Metcon because that's what your gym does, yes, it does take away from the coaching, whether you want to admit it or not. Our gym does that. And guess what? It drives me crazy sometimes because I don't get to coach as much as I want to coach. But I can provide as much value as possible in those two things in that hour.
Sam, we knew that Ash had something to bring. We knew she was warming up to get up to fire up. We could just see the momentum building. We just had to give her lob the right one up for us. So, and that's super, super, super great points, Ash. And it's okay. This is the gym I'm working in. This is what we do. But how do I take personal accountability for providing the best experience and treating those members as if they're my own?
Yeah.
Even before I owned a box, it was really funny, the box I worked at. And then when I wound up buying it, some of the people went, oh, shit, we thought you already owned it, dude. Because you were, bringing the fire to class and bringing the energy and bringing the, how do I give 100% of this because this is my thing. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And regardless of the things you can or can't control. And at the end of the day, the members assume there is going to be programming because it's a CrossFit gym. There's going to be workout to follow. So they don't care who pays for that or how much it costs or whatever it is. It's well, what's in it for me? The same as the tracking software is does it work? Can I find things easy? Yeah. Can I fist bump my buddies?
Yeah.
So those things for the affiliate add value. But then as a coach, how do I use those tools to give a great experience and more value and communicate my value to you?
I hear first of all, Ashley, I'm so happy that you talked about the bare minimum. This is my opinion and not one perhaps endorsed by FitFilliate, but there are standards for coaches. There is a bare minimum. And I think that even things we're going to have this piece of software and we're going to have this music and we're going to do this. Even then, those are what's. And I don't they may or may not provide value to the community. And how a coach walks in and executes on whatever the workout is, that can be the difference between no value whatsoever and value that what is called transformational coaching, right? Like if you were imagining an X and Y axis, up this way is education, this way is fun. And if it's pinned all the way to the left and at the bottom, then it's so much fun, it's borderline dangerous. And if it's pinned all the way up, but at the right, then it's so technical that it's practically a lecture and you're not actually lifting. And so, of course, you want to be like aiming toward the middle. But then if you keep it going and you go to that far upper right side, you end up with something that is transformational, an experience that is fun and educational. Someone who, exactly what Ash says, uses people's names, uses everybody's names, touches base with every single person, understands the workout, whether it's a single workout of the day or a lift and a Metcon, so well, and the intended stimulus behind what the programmer wrote, that they can go to every single person in that class and give them a version of that workout that is customized for them. That is threshold training. That is scaling properly applied. And that is value. That is the value of individual coaching. And if you are not doing that, right? If you are not executing on that to the best of your ability, based on what your interests are, what your time is, how far you want to take being a coach or a trainer, then as a business owner, there does at some point become a calculus where it's like, okay, could I put a TV at the front of the room that has the whiteboard and have it be just as effective as that person? I've been in some gyms where the TV would have been more effective.
Yeah.
And I hope that.
And there are some, lookalike companies that do that now.
Yeah.
It's like you go to a thing, you learn how to deadlift by watching a video that's, continuously looping on a screen, because they're not trained. They're not even trainers. They're just, DJs and pump up crew. But, they're able to communicate a value that people will pay a premium for that, because, look, they're all having fun, and it makes it look like that they are getting the experience that they want. But then people will quite often go and do that, and then after a little bit find their way back to a CrossFit gym because I got hurt, or I didn't actually get taught anything. Yeah. So then your client starts to find their own balance of between what I need to know and what, and still having that good experience. But again, it's that nuance of coaching is understanding, like you said, on that sliding scale, like that's the balance, and that's the magic, is finding that sweet spot.
Yes.
But I think as coaches, and we, when we get caught up in we're in the service industry and I'm here to serve and I'm here to give, so I should always be poor and I should always be, living out the, have my clothes in the boot of the car kind of deal. Like that's, and I'm doing 50 clients a day and back to back to back to back. And we think the answer is more pieces of paper. But I think it comes down to that greater understanding of humans and human psychology and, basic hierarchy of needs for people, and tapping into that. But then being able to, like I said at the start, work with our affiliate owners on that, relationship of reciprocity, going, how can I help you provide more value to the community? Therefore, it works well for both of us.
Yeah.
Rather than, bruh, I need $80 an hour.
Yeah.
It's a very different conversation, and being able to understand your own value and your own impact. The impact is priceless.
Yeah.
On somebody's life. And being able to tap into that and communicate, like I keep saying, communicate, which is what we talked about last week, is like, how do we communicate our value? How do we get people to say, yeah, this is worth $1,500 or, whatever, or yeah, it's like a $10 session,
Well, I think first of all, it's got to be worth $1,500, right? If you're going to charge $1,500, don't sell them a $10 session and try to lie to yourself and then through that lie to them. First of all, be ethical. Second of all, if you don't understand how to communicate value, okay, ask for help.
Mm.
If you didn't know it, like if you were trying to power snatch 225 and you're stuck at 185 and you've been slamming your face against a wall for 6 months and not understanding what the difference is, maybe you ought to hire a coach, you know? And good.
Yeah, go. No, you go, Sam.
Well, just there, you know, a person who understands value. I have this idea in my brain that a person who understands value will never have a problem with full classes. A person who understands and can communicate value will never have a problem taking those full classes and creating something that works for both the affiliate owner and themselves. But a person who does not understand value, even if they can communicate it, like don't be a line item on your affiliate owner's expense list. Be an asset. And we talk about that sometimes as, you know, affiliate owners, it's your responsibility to look at your coaches not as line items, but as assets and invest in them as such. There's still an onus on the coaches. Like coaches, you got to fucking act like it.
Yeah, it's not one-way traffic.
Absolutely not. And that responsibility goes both ways. And if you're not delivering on your half of the bargain, if you got an affiliate owner who you're trying to work with and you're having the conversation that we're trying to have, hey, this is what I want to do. You know, how do I work with you to create something that works for the affiliate and works for me? And you are not owning your side and you're not delivering. Like, that's bad only if you choose to do nothing about it.
Except sit and bitch and moan.
Exactly. Up until then, it's just data. And if the thing that you're doing isn't working, that's fine. Take that, recalibrate, execute again, right? And try to do so without beating yourself up because you're a human being and you deserve to be treated gently, right? And I think there's a way to do that without, you know, raking yourself over the coals, but don't stick your head in the sand and, you know, just be like, nope, everything's fine.
You know, and that's a trap that we can fall into as coaches. We're like, well, I'm not getting paid what I'm worth. And then we get into the trap of doing coach maths for the affiliate owner going, oh, hang on a minute. Sam's got 100 members and they're paying $200 a month. So holy shit, he's rolling in it. I need to go in and demand more pay or I'm going to go and open my own affiliate. Then suddenly you're very keenly aware of the cost of toilet paper and whiteboard markers. You know, the Christmas gift that members gave me that used to spark the most joy in me were whiteboard markers because, you know, they're incredibly expensive and you go through a metric shit ton of those things.
Yes.
And suddenly you go, oh, so he probably wasn't making all that money. Oops, a bit late now. And you are, you know, elbows deep in this thing rather than being proactive and understanding, which is, you know, what we said at the start is you have the potential as a coach to create your unlimited streams of revenue, create your own time and freedoms by leveraging off the work that the affiliate owner has already done.
Yes.
There's your space. There's your kit. Here's a whole audience of people. Go win them over.
Yeah.
You know, and then suddenly they're all bringing their friends and the affiliate owners, you know, happy your classes are pumping. Then you can have the conversation about, hey, how does this work moving forward for both of us?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm bringing to the party. What more do you need me to bring, or what do you need me to bring to the party?
Yeah.
And it's a whole different, you know, grown up conversation to have rather than, you know, please, may I have some more?
Yeah. I've got is like Kennedy's voice in my head being like, ask not what your affiliate can do for you, but instead what you can do for your affiliate.
Oh.
Nailed it. That's awesome. But, you know, it's a highlight of my week and our week's just started. You know, the power of a coach can't be understated. So I'm probably going to sound a bit like a knob telling this story, but I'm going to go with it anyway because safe space. But, you know, I'm an experienced coach. I've been coaching for 10 years. I ran an affiliate for 7.5 years. I have trained thousands of people to be better and to live their best lives. Like that's just a fact. I'm not going to dispute it. Like, so I know what to do. But this week I went down the path of hiring myself a coach to train me, to PT me. And I don't want to just say train me, but to coach me. And it's someone I worked with 10 years ago. And we've had a continuing relationship since. But in that 1 hour yesterday, I achieved more intensity and work than I have done in the previous 7 months of, pottering around in my garage and Instagramming between sets of things and just doing stuff I preferred.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do anything earth-shattering. It wasn't like, was definitely not anywhere near the work capacity that, I once had, and that's cool. I'm rebuilding. But talking about a coach being able to compress time and, looking at it from the perspective of what we do here at FitFilliate for coaches and affiliate owners, we help them compress time, and by cutting through the busyness and the excuses, like, well, I'm sitting there, we chatted plenty in the session, but I came out of that going, I worked, like, my workout tracker actually triggered that I'd done something, rather than like, did you really do anything? Like, you turned me on, but I didn't record anything.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, like, when I walked out of there, like, I would have paid anything for that session.
Yeah.
And she, when we talked about doing it, she's like, oh, well, just come on track. No, I will be paying you what you are worth. And she's like, oh, I don't know what to ask. Or I said, cool. Well, here's what I charge myself out at. So that's what I'm going to pay you. Because I know I've learned enough over time to finally know my worth. But I'm like, that's not, my value from 1 hour is already compressed 6 or 7 months of, feeling like I was doing something.
Yeah.
And I know we have that impact on our people that, clients that we coach in FitFilliate as well. We do, same thing. But again, it's being able to communicate that and understanding your impact and your value.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how experienced you are. Everyone needs a coach. So use your affiliate owner to coach you, to develop you, to help you see what what you need to bring to the party. So, okay, this is what I'm currently bringing to the party. What do you really need? Like, what can I do better or more of, or whatever? And see it as a collaborative relationship, not as a, us and them.
And if you want to be really brave, have your affiliate owner come take your class.
Yeah. How many coaches hate that?
Yeah, right. Like, first of all, how many coaches are terrified of that, and probably shouldn't be. But also, second, like, how many affiliate owners don't get in enough workouts? They sit here and they own a beacon of health and fitness that they, have signed their life and their money to. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like, that's the life of an affiliate owner, and like, that's part of what FitFilliate is aiming to solve, is creating time so that you can do the thing that you love, which is, we all love CrossFit. And for the coach brave enough to ask, cool, like, have your affiliate owner in your class, show them what you bring to the table on the regular. Make your class their favorite class.
Yeah.
And then the value that you have will be beyond reproach.
And it's, I remember when I had the affiliate and I would jump into classes, when I could, and not one bit of coaching, like, they was too scared to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I was deliberately, like, doing the worst. I remember one classes doing the worst push jerks I could possibly muster. And I was getting that's great, Lisa, keep going, as he sort of crop dusted past me. And I'm like, this isn't what we need. And if that's what you're doing to me, then I guarantee that you're probably doing it to everybody else as well. Because if anything, it should be, oh, that's the boss. I should be, like, lift the standard, treat everyone in your class like it's the affiliate owners come into your class. And then when the affiliate owner comes in,
be
open to that feedback.
Yeah. We had we had a red shirt that worked at my affiliate for a while when he first moved here. And I used to get so nervous when he would be in my classes. And then I got to a point where I would be like, hey, John, will you come take my class and give me some feedback afterwards? Because I would crave it then. It was like I got to a point where I was confident, but I knew like I wanted to be the best possible coach. So I'd be like, okay, what do you got?
Yeah. I mean, one of my new coaches, I remember when I was developing her, she's like, I can't coach Colin. He's a coach. He'll know that I'm not saying things right. I went, no, he's there just to get a workout in. I said, I can tell you now, if Rich Froning, Tia, Matt Fraser walked in this gym, I expect you to coach the ass off them.
Yeah.
Not, just because of who they are, if they're turning up to a class, they need to be coached. And it doesn't matter. And use that as a learning and growth experience. Like we all get better through each other getting better and helping each other get better. That is the model of the seminar staff. It's that continuous feedback loop. Every seminar, they're sitting down having hard conversations and making each other better, which makes them the slick, unit that they are.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't, I've heard it said too many times. It's not like you get to the red shirt and you're done. Like, it's James Hobart once described the internship as the hardest job application that you'll ever do. And then the work starts. Then you actually start working. And real quick to your point about like worrying about what so-and-so person would say, I think that's so incredibly common. And I heard something a day or two ago, and it was people in their 20s spend all their time worrying about what other people think. And then when you get to your 40s, you stop caring about what other people think. And then when you get to your 60s, you realize they were never thinking about you. And if we can just skip right to that third part and just save yourself a little bit of anguish. Ask for the feedback. Like Ash, I'm sure it was like me. It's like you realize they're not going to like tear you open and draw and quarter you and then set your insides on fire. They want you to be better. And it's constructive criticism. And you're like, oh, son of a gun, that wasn't that bad. And so you go back again and again and again. And then all of a sudden, seeking feedback is your Tuesday morning. It's your normal routine.
Yeah.
And if you want to raise the value that's being offered inside your affiliate, start with that. Start doing regular evaluations, not just of owner to coach, but coaches to each other. Holy hell. Like create a community where that's okay. Normal. Yes. Not only is it okay, it's expected. Going back to the bare minimum, being evaluated by your fellow coaches and providing each other constructive feedback is expected.
Yeah.
Wow.
And having an environment where it's not a competition or a measuring contest. It's about, I'm going to bring them down so I look better. It's actually, I'm telling you this because I care about you and I care about the mission that we're doing here in our community. So let's work on this together.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
That's the one. And I think, that's probably a good note to wrap this one. We've had quite a meandering chat today through a broad range of topics, but I think it really comes down to, our mission, I guess, through the $1 Million Coach podcast and through the Six Figure Coach seminar is giving coaches the belief and understanding of their own value and their own potential, and then learning how to tap into that.
Yes.
So if you're interested in coming to our Six Figure Coach seminar and learning more in detail, all the magic secrets, the link to the registration is in the show notes. Very limited opportunities for the very first one. I know it's filling up rapidly, so jump in. It doesn't matter how you get to Atlanta, walk, crawl, hitchhike.
It's a Delta hub. You can get there from anywhere.
Yeah, just get there, and you get to meet Sam and Ash, which will
Don't
be
hold
amazing.
that against us.
You get to meet them before I do. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
And be part of something awesome and be better and be open to that and understand that.
Yes.
All right, team. Till the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adios.